Yep, we got just a light spit down here. Just a little rain. Come here, Morris. Let's put your food up here where it's dry. Here you go. Hey, bud. Stripe's out here somewhere. Marty's in the house. Marty's in the green room window, the birdies. So there you are. Yeah, it's wet out here. I'm bringing this over sooner than later because the chickens are both here. And, you know, they're going to damage my yard. I wanted to sit down and have my coffee, and I looked out here and I saw the chickens, and they'll start pecking at everything if I don't come out. So, wish they would go away. Yep, we've got a nice light rain. I'm seeing one daffodil flower starting to form to my left, so that's nice. One. We're headed to see Johnny today. Just go down, see him, come back. We're going to leave around noon. Johnny frees up around 3. It's about a 3-hour trip, so we'll have a nice casual breakfast. Probably won't walk since it's raining. We could have walked maybe. And then head out. Hang on. Hi-ho, it's off to UNCC we go.
Yeah, it's 12:24. I backed out of the garage manually, but I started self-driving from the parking pad. So I've got the route plugged in to go to stop at Culver's.
Yep.
Salisbury supercharger at Culver's and Johnny's dumpster. Of course, I realized we're going to probably go to Target and a few other things, but I went on and put in Thomasville also.
Okay.
Just so that the car and then home. So that the entire round trip minus the trip to Walmart and or Target is in the navigation.
Right. Well, we'll put on, I would say, for sure less than 10, but probably even less than 5 miles going out to the Walmart or the Target or wherever it is Johnny wants to go. And we can do more than one place even if that's what they need. The rain should be over. The rain was supposed to be a morning event and it's done, so the roads are fairly dry, but you know, no promises. But tomorrow we're going to early vote and do some other running around town, and there's a chance of rain again tomorrow too. So at this point we've gotten almost a week out of our clean car.
Has it been a week?
Yeah, it's close I guess.
Yeah, but the point is there's very little you can do. I mean, we're fixing to go 600 miles. 300 miles.
Yeah.
This round trip, so there's pretty much, it ain't gonna stay clean.
Right. There will definitely be some trip dirt. I bought a couple of Legos with me, a duck kit and a Easter basket bunny kit, both Legos, and I'll be working on them here in a bit. We've got coffee, we've got cooler food of a snack for us on the way home today. Some leftover steak and cheese and pepperoni and stuff, and we've got a whole cooler full of frozen food for Johnny. There's 2 lasagna, 2 shepherd's pie, 2 meatball, I think 7 of the sausages he loves, packs. It's like a 5-pack of sausages. He'll make that into a lunch or a meal. And 2 different kinds of meatballs. So if Johnny likes pasta, I mean, I don't eat pasta, but Johnny will fix pasta and probably add meatballs to it. So that's probably another 6 meals worth of meatballs. So get him through to spring break, which is in a couple weeks. So here's the Easter egg basket, 216 pieces. It is cute with the little mini eggs and the little chick up there. So I'm gonna do this one first. I've got ducks. I've got both of these are gifts with purchase. Was this a gift with purchase? I think it was a gift with purchase. We went past some people picking up trash along the side of the road. Older people out there
60s.
by Sharon Harris. It reminded me and Don of me. But Don was saying that we were on full self-driving and the car was a little extra cautious. Probably should have just moved over farther and just gone ahead around, because it drew their attention. That we waited so long.
Well, there was a group of them. They were basically divvying up the plastic garbage, the bags. They were clustered in a safe spot. The shoulder was very wide. They were on the shoulder, but the car saw them and slowed up and actually stopped in our lane, because it was like a double yellow line. I think you didn't want to cross over, and there wasn't anybody coming, but it actually stopped, and that kind of drew their attention slightly. But then it was this next move. It kind of moved forward and kind of eased up and was moving really slow. It was like, what's that car up to? It wasn't like a person would just go again, just accelerate, move over into the other lane and go. Well, FSD moved slowly, staying in its lane, and then it eased over, and it didn't just go, it just eased by them in the other lane, and then it went.
Yeah.
And the point I was making, I said, I held up my hands like this because the guy...
Jazz hands.
Yeah, jazz hands. I held up my hands like that, and I had a smile. I gave that kind of... So that may not have been enough of a cue that they would have grasped, he's not driving. The car is doing that. I don't know. That's what I said. I would like to go back and ask them, did you realize that the car was driving itself? If one of them, because there's like 5 of them in the group, if one of them realized and shared that with the group, and then if that person shared that, I think that was a self-driving car, I would love to hear what the commentary of the other 4 people would have been on that. Oh man, that was stupid. Or because really all the car did wasn't normally human-wise. It was super cautious and very concerned about them. Overly cautious was its only fault. It wasn't unsafe. Everything it did was unsafe. It just wasn't what they would have done. And of course, we have learned as FSD drivers, one of the things you have to do is you've got to let go of the car is not going to drive the way you drive. And if you keep expecting the car to drive the way you would drive, then you're going to be disengaging all the time. I've had to learn to take a breath, and let the car do its thing. If it wants to get off at this exit, let it get off at that exit. And if it's wrong, it's wrong. But most of the time, it turns out to be perfectly safe and right.
Yeah, well, I thought in my head I should roll down the window and yell, just the autonomous vehicle protecting you.
Yeah.
Just Tesla keeping you safe.
Yeah.
So if that happens again, next time I'm going to roll down the window, because I almost did that today. I'm looking to see if that's a bald eagle. And I'm going to say I didn't see any white, so probably a hawk or a turkey vulture. But it was very tall and majestic, that bird. And over here, around these waterways, there are a lot of bald eagles. So
yeah, I guess I wanted, what I was really asking is, how much of a bubble do Mary and I and other Tesla FSD's owners live in? Does the world out there all around that the cars are participating in and all the traffic, do any of the other drivers realize that the car is driving itself? How many people, that car that just went by, I was sitting here doing all this and it just drove by, I bet you that person just thought, oh, well, that's one of those idiots that doesn't keep his hands on the wheels. Right.
Well, I would use dog mode as an analogy. We still have people calling the cops, not as much as we did 3, 4, 5 years ago, but we still have people that don't know that you're not killing your dog by leaving it in dog mode in a Tesla.
Well, actually,
and that's with the big old sign on the screen and everything. So
actually, I think that's not exactly the way it's happening. They're still calling. It's just the person say, "Is that a Tesla?" You don't know. Look through the passenger window. Is there a screen on there that has a picture of a dog and says, "My owner will be back"?
Well, you would hope the 911 operator would know to do that.
I'm thinking that's what it is. Or the police officer makes contact with the person reporting it and all that. I'm just simply saying, how many times does a cop have to go out to rescue a dog from a Tesla before they start asking,
Yeah, waste a resource.
Yeah.
We can cut our service costs.
Yeah.
Well, my point, though, was that it's still slow adoption to understand about dog mode. And if they don't understand about dog mode, they're sure not going to understand about autonomous driving. Yeah.
Yeah, well, anyway, it ain't your daddy's pickup truck either. I mean, the world is changing.
Yeah.
I actually heard a guy, and I'm not going to get into a detail because I can't convey his point completely, but one of his points was there was the Industrial Revolution, the capitalism booming, all these types of phases that we've gone through. You could say colonialism and all imperial, all that stuff. We are now in the digital world. That everything that we're doing is all because of digital stuff. It's controlling everything, or it's impacting everything. Just like, adding electricity, how that changed everything. Even though it in the right way, but it changed everything. That the AI and all this digital stuff is changing everything. The way we interact, the way we buy and sell, the way we gather information, the way we entertain ourselves, the way we work. It's impacting every aspect of our lives, at least in the West. Maybe not in other places, but there's a great deal of the world that is now 100% digital addicted, or controlled by digital technology.
Yep. So, someone that I follow on X, I believe you would pronounce his name, Nick Cruz Patain. I think the last name's Italian. Patone. He posted this morning that in 2027 in China, there's a law that's going to take effect. This just sounded bizarre to me. That's going to require buttons for certain car functions. Require something you can physically touch, not allow the monitor to handle certain functions for you. And that was, I think it was flashers, turn signals, gear selection, and something. There was a few on there, and I thought, as a Tesla owner, I thought, wow, that's really backward. I was like, why would the Chinese want to stop innovation? Why would they want to go backward when not just Tesla, but other, because the picture showed, I don't know what it was probably BYD or something. Other car manufacturers in China have followed Tesla's lead. I'm making an assumption, but I think it's a fair one. And they've removed some of this stuff from the cars. Now, I know there's driver preference, and especially for old farts like me and Don, that, we're sort of used to the turn signal, or we're used to the gear selector. But look at Don the other day trying to select the gear from the screen when he was in Ruby. And Ruby, you've got to use the stalk. So I think drivers get used to the controls of whatever a car they're in for longer than a day or two. Right? When you get a brand new car, you don't know what you're doing in it. I don't care how many YouTube videos you watched. There's going to be subtle differences, even going from one Tesla to another, that you got to figure out. But the reason why I'm mentioning this, and I did not ask Grok to fill me in on what the actual law was, how he thought it would affect Tesla. I should have done that. I should have taken another 5 minutes, because that's the kind of thing that I'll do little deep dives with Grok's help. But the thing that stood out to me is, and this is how I spend more time on YouTube and X reading the comments behind a post or a video than I do actually paying attention to the post or the video, because I want to know what the audience is thinking. And I assume mostly Tesla owners are following Nick. And there were a couple of people underneath there that said, yeah, stupidest thing Tesla ever did, removing the turn signal stalk or whatever. But most of it was people that had obviously never driven a Tesla, assumed that the monitors on the cars were a horrible idea, would cause you to be stranded on the side of the road, had no understanding of the technology whatsoever, because my point to them would be, just because you got a turn signal stalk doesn't mean it's not tied into the main computer. So whether you move the stalk or you press the button on the screen, it's probably the same point of failure, and so, at least for some of these things. Now Ruby, of course, has got an autopilot stalk and a turn signal stalk and a flasher button and a glove box button, and Ruby's got and a gear selector stalk. She's got all the things. And if you ask me which do I prefer, well, I probably haven't driven robot enough to have an opinion, but again, I think you get used to the car you're in. So I was really sort of well, first off, as a Tesla stockholder, I was like, oh God, what kind of rigmarole is China going to put Tesla through to make the cars that they're already selling over there, that are already working great, conform to this new law? That was my first thought. And the second thing was just that it was really backward. Let the market decide. Don't get involved in forcing stuff. I mean, yeah, there's safety criteria, but I think you would be hard pressed to have a case with the data collected that showed that flashers not being, I mean, we've actually have a flasher button in here.
But that's because that is the law here too.
Right. But, like turn signal has to be a stalk and can't be on the wheel as a thing or whatever. And maybe the button on the wheel is good enough for this law, so I need to understand more. But I think you'd be hard pressed to say that one is more dangerous than the other. I think if you put a person in a new vehicle, there's a window where it's a little more dangerous while muscle memory remembers what to do in that vehicle. And it can go away if you don't drive it for a few months.
It goes away quick.
But I think it doesn't matter if that's your vehicle and you're driving it all the time. And I've seen people on X post, I didn't think I was going to like the turn signals being on the wheel, and it's no big deal now that I've driven my new Tesla for a few weeks. And then there's a few people that said, still hate it, still want it back. Oh, and by the way, they mentioned what's the other wheel? Donnie, help me out, where the half of it's missing.
The square wheel.
Well, not the Cybertruck square, but the one where the top half is just missing from the wheel. Anyway, You guys know what I'm talking about. That was going to be restricted too. So I don't know. The wheel's a little different discussion than the buttons and the stalks and the knobs, because of how you hold it or turn it in an accident, how you might recover putting your hands on it. But anyway, I guess we'll see. I'm just throwing that out there. You can go look up Nick Cruz. That part is spelled the way you would expect, or message me and I'll find the post and I'll let you know what it was or whatever. But it was interesting. We don't need to go backwards, and we don't need, the market in the US, I think they kind of told Tesla how they feel about the turn signal stalks. So I don't let the market decide, let the customers decide, and let's not go backwards on technology. In Ruby, I can 100% guarantee that if the big screen fails, I can still drive my car in every way that I could drive my car when I could see the big screen, including down to the point where the MCU, the screen went out, and we had to do a capacitive discharge to reset pin to drive so we could start the car, because we didn't have access to couldn't type in the pin, so we could get it to service so they could put in the new MCU. And we were able to drive all the way to service in the dark, and that's a 40 minute drive. So anybody that wants to tell me, oh God, the big screen and the Tesla dies, you can't drive your car, BS. Total not true, at least for my 2017 Model X. I would say in robot, the screen doesn't go dark as much as it did in Ruby.
Right.
And I haven't driven robot as much, but I mean, I've had 40 times in Ruby where the screen's rebooted while I was driving. So what? Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't. So I can't quite certify robot because it's not happening as much, and I haven't driven through it as much. But certainly in Ruby, I would be willing to bet money on it for people.
Yeah, well, I don't like China putting all those stifling the innovation, or putting regulations on you can't do it. You have to do it this way or it's the highway. you know, when are we going to get rid of the rear view mirrors? I mean, do we really need rear view mirrors now? And it's not just Teslas, any car. I mean, at some point, why? And it's stifling innovation. I'm just simply saying, when you put the regulations in place, then nobody tries to do anything different because the regulators won't allow it. And you just killed any innovation in that area. Stop. And it won't ever change because everybody says, well, that's the way we did it. That's the way my granddaddy did it. My great-granddaddy did it. My great-great-great-granddaddy did it. They all did it that way. You know, turn signal stop.
Right. What I wanted to say was that even the girl over here that doesn't like change agrees that we can't stop innovation, just like we can't stop growth.
Yeah.
And that, you know, we shouldn't be, we don't have to do everything the same way for the rest of forever.
Right.
So, I guess, Donnie, it'll really be telling when we're out driving around in the Cybertruck if we have the tonneau cover down or up.
Right.
Up means we're stored. I don't know what the right word is. Rolled up, stored. Means we can look out the mirror.
Right.
We can look out the rear view mirror. And not means we're going to be relying on a video feed to see what's behind us. So I think that'll be very telling. And of course, we'll try to use the video display.
Yeah,
we'll try. But, you know, certainly give it a good shot. But I think that'll be telling about our ability to adapt.
I guess I do look out the rear. I don't know how often I look out the mirror, the rear view mirror, but one of the things that I do with the rear view mirror, whenever I get into this, I think that light's going to catch me. I often look in the rear view mirror to assess how close the car is behind me.
Yep.
So
all good drivers do.
Right, because, you know, just because you could stop in time doesn't mean the car behind you thinks they could stop, because they're expecting you to go through light. That's what we just talked about, those guys on the side of the road. None of them expected the car to stop and be that hesitant to get around them. All of them expected the car to go. And that's the same thing. People nowadays are expecting you to run through the red light. They're not expecting you to stop.
Yeah.
It's optional.
Yeah.
You know, you're restricting me to only correct answers.
Well, there's the little Easter basket with the eggs and the chick. It's meant to be loose. So that's kind of interesting. I guess you can put the chick up here if you want, as shown in the picture. But in the instructions, they sort of show it like this. I probably would like it better if they were fixed. And I may have to go make another color egg. I don't know. The egg is pretty basic. Anyway, it was fun. Sun's coming out. We're preconditioning for charging. And, it's, you know, uneventful and hands-free so far. This is the other set I brought along to put together. The 3 little ducks. I guess 4 little ducks. This was definitely a gift with purchase. This arrived this morning. So I'm going to put it together. And it does include the cattails at the back. Well, nothing like driving down the road in the car taking evasive action over a tar patch in the middle of the lane.
Something has changed in this release, or since we came on this way. Twice now, things in the road or markings on the road, she's diverted a little bit, so she's seeing stuff on the roadway now. Yeah, there's patches on the road here, and they have really caused her some consternation for sure. Yeah, she's more afraid of the patches in that middle lane than she is of the fact that there's a car with people on the side of the road. Yeah, other people were reporting this on version 14, especially Wife of Dirty Tesla, with leaves and stuff this past fall, but Dawn and I really weren't experiencing it, and now we're experiencing it. Yeah, something's changed.
Well, the big duck in the set is adorable. 2 of the 3 bags went toward making the duck. My only negative comment is that the eye is not completely mirrored. It's the same piece on both sides. So on one side you got little on top, little circle on top, and big circle on the bottom, and on the other side you got big circle on top, little circle on the bottom, and that might drive me nuts, but okay, I'm gonna let it go. And then the feet, they do come down for swimming mode. So he could be, you know, gliding or actually swimming. And then the last bag is going to make the other ducks and the cattails. So the third bag. Finished just in time before the supercharger. Super cute. I got this wing on backwards. I'll fix it in a minute. The beaks on the little chicks are not the piece you think they are. Interesting little piece. 4 of them would make a little dome. Very fun set. Really enjoyed it. I do think there is still some interest for how the cars park at the supercharger, so I'm going to record that. Of course, we're here at the Culvers in Salisbury.
If she did well, I probably would have kept going through that yield sign. But
without a complete stop.
Without a complete stop. But she didn't sit there but just a second, and then she left, so she didn't spend a lot of time there.
67 here.
Yeah, it's wish I would have brought a short sleeve shirt now.
Yeah, I was a little hot in the car. I had to bump down the air. We started out at 73 when we left, and it's down to 70 now. As I was getting hot in the sunshine. It's pretty bright.
Yeah.
We're headed into the sun.
Yeah.
Camera card filled up. Grab the phone.
Well, she has an unlimited choice here.
Yep.
It's wide open.
Only the ones on the side are in use. None of the ones here up front.
Yeah, I would prefer not to have to face into the sun, but hey, whatever. We're not going to be here.
Well, we like to go around to the side, and that's just not happening today.
She did perfect.
Well, this person ain't on FSD and didn't slow down. We're here working on unloading. 3rd floor, that away. Well, Johnny and I are at the local Walmart, and I should have realized this, but they have all kinds of 49er merchandise. That's pretty cool. So we are headed home. It's 7 p.m. We're, I don't know, 15 minutes away from Johnny's apartment. We were eating a little bit of food, and I had packed us a snack, dinner, whatever you want to call it. There was steak, pepperoni, and cheese involved.
Yay, baby.
So Walmart was a thing today. First off, it was super busy. You couldn't pause for a second without somebody running you over. A little different experience though than Whole Foods, because you weren't being run over by the staff. You were being run over by other patrons. The aisles weren't crammed full of stocking and picking. Okay. And then Johnny's credit card, for whatever reason, at the checkout triggered a fraud alert. So we had to navigate through that. I don't know why. It had to do with distance from our home address and the amount of the purchase, I think. So anyway, that was just really intense, and we were in there for forever, and Dawn got a really good nap, so that's good. And we sat with, well, we handled the fraud alert and we sat with Johnny for a few minutes at the apartment. But, you know, the time just flew. It really flew between arrival and leaving. And most of it involved, you know, going to the store. So I was saying to Johnny and Don too that, you know, it's kind of hard in this spring semester to know when's a good time to visit between drop off in January and spring break. So I'm glad we fit in one trip down in between, and we'll be doing, you know, spring break here coming up in a few weeks. So it's all good. We're supposed to get home at 9:25 at 10% if we stop at Thomasville and charge for 2 minutes. But yeah, so we're gonna stop at Thomasville real quick. Doesn't matter, we're fine. Don had a great nap, so I think we're good to go on the trip home tonight. I did not get to see Gray outside of her hide place, but I did reach in and pet on her a little bit, and Johnny has sent me a picture that she's come out and is doing good. Johnny was headed out with friends, actually, a birthday party celebration, so I'm glad Gray came out and saw them for a bit. Car is parking us here at the Thomasville Supercharger.
You did better.
By the time we go in to use the restroom, it ought to be time to leave.
Pretty much.
It did what? It did better?
Yeah, because that one over there is got those poles.
We like the one at the slot it chose.
That's right. This is the better slot. That's
okay.
Right.
Well, we're still hands-free, but we are a little over the line. Yep. We got in. We can go. We knew that was going to be the case. We did study the pork rind aisle.
Yes, we did.
So oops. My husband was in a rush and couldn't wait for I don't even have my seatbelt on. That's how much of a rush he's in. So 6:36 here at Thomasville. You're in trouble.
I'm sorry.
We had an intervention. She wanted to turn left out of the gas station, which made no sense to us, since turning right gets you on the interstate in, like, I don't know, 1/8 of a mile. I mean, it's basically right here. But I told him, I said, maybe you can get on if you go the other way. You know, maybe there's two together, and she thought it was faster. But anyway, Don took over, turned right instead of left, and
yeah. Well, I didn't want her to. I mean, if she's going to try to make a left turn up there, and then she's going to have to go around and turn. I mean, if I was trying to make sure it was intervention free, I probably would have done it, but I didn't really want to, you know, go around that merry-go-round there.
I don't really care that you intervened. I just was fessing up that we did have an intervention. I'm sure the car would have figured it out, but it could have taken us 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah,
so
it's like we went around the Siler City Supercharger, remember?
Yeah, we circled the Food Lion parking lot a few times. Yeah,
we let them do it, but you know, making left turns, and that's it was clear. So I didn't want to waste that opportunity to make the right turn and get out of there.
Yeah, because she'd actually put us in the left lane at the exit. Yeah, so we're home at 17%, the car says. Because we just charged for however long it took us to use the restroom.
Yep.
If you wanted to know, we're home and we're at 15%, and we did not stop to play Pokemon or deviate in any way. Yep. All the kitties are good. Marty's ready to go outside. He was in. Say, I want the woods, Mom. I want the woods. We gave him his medicine so he can go.